segueing then to our second topic, the way you raise it, for some, if not for a lot of people, a dog is a luxury. If you have the disposable income and you have the time and you have the home to open up, it can add a lot to your life. And so for some, that would be considered a luxury. And, that word luxury gets thrown out a lot, I'm a luxury real estate agent. I deal with luxury homes. I'm a luxury salesperson. I deal with luxury cars. And everybody has a very, very different definition of what luxury is to them. It's funny because, one group who are middle class will say, I'm living in luxury, and they'll see somebody upper class and they're like, wow, we feel like paupers. And people who are living what they think are luxury lifestyles in the upper class compared to Uber lifestyles, it's all about levels at the end of the day. And everything in my life, and everything in life, the way I see it, everything comes down to levels. And to me, luxury is all about levels. So topic number 2, luxury living. So you surround yourself with luxury living. Your occupation is luxury living. If I start off and tell you point blank, luxury living, you have to put down the definition of it. What to you is luxury living?
So hard. To your point, there's different levels, but I think everyone's perception of luxury living is different. So, you have luxury living that we talk about, which is the yachts and the private jets and, all the homes all around the world. But then you have luxury living, like for me, and what we see is our luxury living is having flexibility to travel, having disposable income that if something comes up, we're able, with the dogs, for example, with their surgeries, having the ability to at any point in time say, you know what, today I want to buy that, or I want to go here and I think I want to buy this investment property. How are we going to make it work? Like for me, that in my mind, do I want a yacht one day? Sure. I mean, who doesn't? Or do I maybe want my own private jet? Sure. But luxury living for me is living day to day and feeling fulfilled, healthy, and having the options that you're, for us, I guess, has always been not being, you still go through financial stresses, but having the options to kind of do things as they come up. And that for me, at least, is what, in my opinion,
for you is luxury.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it's a little different. So for me, there's good lifestyles, happy lifestyles, and no matter what your income is, no matter what your job is, you can live a balanced life. Like you can go and you can live in a bachelor apartment. It's nice and clean. You buy good, healthy food. You're on a budget. Don't eat out at a lot of restaurants. You do yoga at home, or you go to a yoga studio. You take a trip once a year, maybe. Everybody can do anything they want on a budget, But to me, when I hear the word luxury, to me, that's Jay-Z. To me, that's the Uber yacht, which costs $100,000 a weekend to rent out. It's like the show Billions and Succession. And everybody's sporting a $100,000 watch and, a fleet of limos. And, I think of two categories of people. They both have that Uber money, right? Where they can literally do anything they want. They can buy whatever they want. They can live wherever they want. And there's
money's not an issue for them at all.
None. But there's the one that live frugally. And they're like, okay, I'm good with my 2,000, 3,000 square foot house. It's 50 years old. I don't renovate. I don't care. I drive my old beater. I don't care. I have the money. I know I can do it if I want to. I don't need that. That doesn't make me happy. And the other people are saying, hey, you live once. So you know what? I'm going to buy that 5,000, 10,000 square foot house. And I'm going to have a fleet of Ferraris, a fleet of watches. And I'm going to travel on private jets. And I'm going to enjoy my life because I have the means to do it,
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, both are going to end up in the ground one day. Like that's the reality, The only thing for sure in life is death and taxes.
Yeah.
And to the frugal one, I always tell them, like, I hear what you're saying, but what are you working so hard for if you don't get to enjoy that luxury? Not everybody, 1 or 2% of the population, in my estimation, it's 1 or 2% of the population really who get to live that real luxury life. That's the reality.
100%.
98% of the money is in 1 or 2% of the people. That's facts. That's just sad. Maybe I'm off by percentage here and there, but we know pretty much that's it. And when you have the means, but you just don't even want to live that luxurious life because it just doesn't do anything for you. And I'm thinking, how? How did you work so hard and not want to enjoy it? Because I see this other group of people that when they actually, now the people that pretend that have it, they're people that live beyond their means, and They show the perception of a luxury lifestyle. They're Instagram famous, but they are leveraged beyond their eyeballs. They're so much in debt. They have their house remortgaged several times. They're carrying lines of credits. Everything is done on debts. And no matter how much they earn, and some of them earn very good incomes, don't get me wrong. Like I remember seeing two doctors that many years ago, and I thought these guys, they have great incomes, and they're leveraged beyond because they're living the means beyond, and it's amazing.
They're overspending from what they
make.
Yeah.
So to me, like luxury living is great when you don't feel it. Like, for them to spend 200,000, for some people like to spend $20. But that's very few people. But people watch these shows and they say, I want that too, and then the reality crashes down at some point. And so,
but I think, sorry to interrupt you, but when I watch these shows, so I just recently started watching like here and there, I Am Georgina, which is Cristiano Ronaldo's girlfriend or fiance. And it's a show about their life, and it's the same thing.
Is it a reality show?
It's a reality show, and she picks up the phone and she calls her friends. So you want me to have the yacht, the jet pick you up? We'll go to the yacht in Monaco. And this is a life that you sit there going, oh, this is crazy. But I always look back, and people don't realize that all these things that you buy don't necessarily truly make you happy. Like they're materialistic things, but in order, and for people to have, for example, someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, to have the money he has, he works for it. It doesn't just come to him. He works a lot. He's, a professional soccer player. He obviously, and his whole life has been committed to playing soccer and to being the best. And there's a lot of pressure there too. So, and that's why I say like luxury living for everyone's a little bit different, and it's amazing. But there's also a lot of people sometimes I find look at this and go, oh, I want that life, but they don't necessarily know what it takes to have that life.
Yes.
Because for most people, unless you're born into it, it's a lot, like you're working a lot to be able to afford such things.
To be able to run, let's say, 3 houses, just 3 houses, let's say. So let's say you're a rapper and you're a famous rapper. So you're going to keep it small. You're going to have three houses. You're going to have 8 cars and the jet setting lifestyle. To keep those homes up, to pay all those bills, all those expenses, and to maintain the vehicles, for example, it all costs money. Some of the most famous rappers, for example, the stories have come out. You see their incomes. The money is there. I mean, it's very clear the money's there. They have ad endorsements. They have the record labels. And you know what? A lot of it is still show. Those cars are leased. They don't own them. They don't own them.
So it's funny. NBA, there was something that came up about NBA players, for example.
Yes.
They make a ton of money. They spend it. They're showy. But when they actually leave the NBA, and this isn't just NBA, I'm sure it's a lot of sports players, they actually don't have a lot of investments. Like a lot of them, because again, like a lot of people, especially if you come from nothing and now you're making all this money, they don't know, should I buy real estate? Should I put it in stocks? Spend. They just spend. And then all of a sudden when that money stops, it's hard for them because they didn't put away and invest in things to keep money coming in.
GQ, I believe, is the magazine. They have this feature on celebrities, and very often they have athletes, and they show them my first real paycheck. What did I spend it on? So my first million or my first 200,000 or whatever. And it's very consistent. It's jewelry, watches, necklaces, rings, obviously, cars, clothes, all the frivolous stuff is possible in people's minds, right? And the money is gone. Like I've heard of NBA players that, for the first year had to eat mac and cheese the rest of the year because they spent their whole year salary in a span of 2 months because they forgot, oh, I have taxes. Oh, I have my agent. Oh, I have other commitments. And all of a sudden, and I bought this person a house and that person a car. And not everybody gets to do that. There was a stat at one point, I don't have the exact one in front of me, but I think it was close to 70 to 80% of NBA players within 5 years of leaving the NBA had no money.
100%. Yeah, I heard that
alarming.
Same thing. Yeah.
That's alarming. And so, and luxury living will do that to you. And luxury, like we said, can be, it can be a person having a very simple home and just renovating the heck of that home.
Yeah.
And then leasing 2 vehicles, taking, multiple trips a year. And it's at the end of the day, my measure is you have the money coming in every month. Are you spending more than you earn?
Yeah.
So number 1, are you able to pay your credit card every month? If you're not able to pay your credit card every month, you're not in luxury living. Okay.
Agreed.
That's out the window. Number 2, has anything on it to savings whatsoever? Have you done RRSP for in Canada, TFSAs, things like that? If you have no savings, credit card debt, yeah, you have a lot of nice stuff, but if you can't afford it, you ain't luxury living then.
Yes,
You're just living
agree.
beyond your means, but that's not true luxury. I recall, reading about custom homes and how people, because obviously you and I are in real estate. So I love, seeing all the time the floor plans. I love seeing the diagrams. I love
Yeah.
seeing the amenities and the feature sheets. And it's amazing as things go up and up and up. I read before a stat, I think it was last year, the top requested feature in a new custom home is 2 master bedrooms, a his and
Oh, really?
her
That's news. I didn't
master
hear that.
bedroom.
It's
So
kind of
that,
smart. You want-
because imagine now, for different lifestyles, different hours. This person works nights, this person works days, this person is in this country, this person's in that country, and they happen to be meeting up. They don't want to be woken up. They don't like
Yeah.
their dressing area, touched upon. They like to have their own bathroom. So, and I haven't seen this, but apparently in Uber custom homes, 2 master bedrooms. To me, that's luxury.
Yeah, agreed. And smart if you want your marriage to last.
If you're seeing now, is because you're around it all the time. What have you seen as far either custom or just builder standard, but like in as the standards are constantly going up,
Yeah.
crown molding was yesterday, having
Cove ceilings now.
what's kind of ceilings?
Cove ceilings.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah.
Elevators, is that a thing?
Private elevators are a thing. Yeah. I would
Yeah.
say what I've found to be, so I am selling a luxury condominium right now. And the biggest thing for us has been the lifestyle. So people
Yes.
want convenience. I think more and more, we see like Amazon's big deliveries, delivery food services, having that convenience and being able to pick up a phone and call someone and they can coordinate reservations for you. They can coordinate getting your car to Florida where you live half the year. Being able to go downstairs and have all the amenities in your building and having that kind of luxury lifestyle of,
Yes.
water service, towel service by your pool, by the gym. Those are the things that I've been finding now that really, in terms of luxury living from a real estate aspect,
Yes.
and especially in condo, is what we're seeing. And that's really what people have been, based on my conversations, looking for.
I have a lot of clients that ask me when I'm reviewing a stash certificate for somebody on a resale condo in Toronto, for example, what am I paying for? I'm paying this monthly amount. What is my amenities? What am I paying for? What is
Yeah,
included with it? And you could be living in a 400 or 500 square foot condominium unit, but you're living luxury because you have all those amenities, which is
exactly.
pretty neat. The luxury living came to me because there was a listing that came up recently in my area here at the Bathurst and Steeles area, and it's a $10 million condominium unit. And they have 7 parking spaces privately for the person. They have a 30-person dining room. They have their
Yeah.
own private swimming pool with their own separate kitchen, second kitchen in the glassed off area for the private pool. And I was looking at this unit. I said the only person I could see living in this unit is Putin. If Putin had a unit in Toronto, this is
Yeah.
where he would be living. Like they had a walk-up marble steps to your bed in the master bedroom with the
Wow.
ceilings you talked about. So
Yeah.
it's a and for $10 million, this is in Canadian dollars here. You can still buy a pretty luxurious house and get a lot of these things, but not everybody wants the snow shovel. Not everybody wants to take care of the roof, and they're saying, "I just want to come in and out of my unit. You take care of the
Exactly.
rest, by all means."
Yeah, and then for some people, they don't necessarily need, now we're seeing that they don't want that much space either in their condo because they don't want to pay for it. Because really, if you actually think, and I always have this conversation with my clients especially when they're downsizing and they're coming from 6,000, 7,000 square feet, is tell me how many rooms out of your house that you actually use. And when you
Yeah,
actually, like if they're living in 5,000 square feet, for example, 9 out of 10 times they use 2,000, 2,300, maybe 2,500 square feet of the house.
that's it.
So really, if you have all the luxuries of all the amenities and services in the building, so you can use them when you feel, but maybe you don't use them all the time, but
Right.
then having a home, because you're paying maintenance fees on that square footage, right? So
Absolutely.
having a home that is tailored to what you're looking for, but then having the convenience of, having a caterer's kitchen in a private dining area when you want to have friends over. If you don't want to entertain them at home, you can go downstairs to your party room and do it there. So it's really just, and some people that's not what they want. Some people want the larger condo, like you're saying, with with the private pool. It's just like everyone's idea of luxury is different, and it's really just what they are looking for in their lifestyle.
To sum up luxury before we jump into topic number 3, I'm going to sum up this. I'm going to ask you, because you're in the trenches. So I'm sitting in my office. I get the new purchase agreements. I get the stash certificates. I'm not physically walking through these things. So I'm not sure what's going on. I just know on paper what's there. You're the
Mhm.
one that eats, breathes, and sleeps this. So in the luxurious homes, in the luxurious condos, at the end of the day, how many of them percentage wise would you say are the way you see it on TV? How many of them are flowing with Ferraris and Lambos and Chanel
Definitely.
purses and Rollies all over the place? How many times are you going into people's homes and this is actually true versus no, you know what, they're living a very simple life in a luxurious palace?
So it's funny because most of the people that I've been dealing with, if you met them on the street, you probably would never know how much money they have. They
Yeah.
have unbelievable amounts of money. They have businesses, they own, they're entrepreneurs. But when you meet them, you wouldn't know it. It's
Yeah.
an understatement. They drive a Lexus, they drive, a Mercedes, they drive a Range Rover, nothing crazy. They might have their sports car, but it's really not what you see on TV. Now, do we have people like that live like that? Bridal Path is a great example. Of course we do.
Yeah.
But from what I'm seeing in terms of luxury condominiums, is it's a simple understatement where they have the money, they have the means, but they don't flaunt it, I guess is the best way to describe it.
I have found the exact same thing. The people that I meet in my walks of life as a lawyer and just through circles and what be the real luxury, or they're not living a luxurious life per se, but they have the means, and I would say the best off. You would have no idea. They're wearing like Levi's Gap jeans. They're wearing
Yeah.
Reeboks. They're
Yeah.
driving around in their Chevy Tahoes. And you'd
Yeah.
have no clue that they have two dimes to rub together, and yet they own vast real estate. And
All over.
if there's one thing I could say time and time again, the uber wealthy, the real people that are off, they seem to have one thing in common: they own real estate.
Always.
Not it just It's a very common denominator, no matter what their walks of life, whatever they did for a living. That I said this in other episodes, that's their seed money, which
Yeah.
allowed them to buy property, to then leverage to the next property. They made their fortune off real estate. They didn't make
Yeah.
it going to school, getting a degree, and working in their particular field. They use that seed money. The only thing is, the better your job, the more money you have to plant more
Just
seeds.
to start it out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But when I meet people that are, let's say, in their 50s and 60s, and they're high professionals and various degrees and they're very good incomes, and they have one piece of real estate, I said to them, I don't understand this. How?
Yeah.
Why? Where did the money go? And they say, oh, it's tied up in stocks and bonds and this. I tell them, you need to find a way to get real estate into your life.
Yeah.
Thank you for enjoying today's episode of the Chosen Life podcast. Go ahead and hit the subscription button below and the notification bell to catch all of our great shows. And remember to contact the Chosen Lawyers when you are ready for your next real estate and commercial transaction. Go to kormans.ca.